come to an area famous for its geysers. They're pronounced geysers here, but the British say geyser. And this area is called Geyser. So the base temperature is 250 degrees. And then the actual hot pools are between 80 and 100 degrees. So all around me, it's like little bubbling pools and steam coming out that you can see pretty much for hundreds of meters around. There was just a huge explosion of water behind me. Wasn't expecting that. They used to go up higher apparently, kind of up to 100 meters in the air, and the highest it's done recently is between 30 and 50 meters. That's why you're not allowed to have drones here. So about every 5 or 10 minutes, then the geyser here erupts. There isn't really much warning, and it's equally impressive every time. So I'm going to go around the side to try and get a different angle. There were just 3 huge eruptions in about a minute. That was crazy. We'd been waiting quite a long time for one to come, and then it shot so high in the air. So next up on the tour today is Gullfoss Waterfall, which is one of the most popular tourist spots in the whole of Iceland. It's only 32 meters high, which doesn't sound particularly high, but I think the reason why it's so incredibly impressive is how wide the waterfall is and the ferocity that the water comes down with. This is one of the highest viewing platforms, and there's a path that leads from the main road in the car park over there. You can walk all the way along and come out just on the top behind me. So I'm going to go over that way and get a different view. So this is the second viewing platform, and from here you can see the 2 tiers a little bit better. And then the final platform over there, you're almost stood in the water. Certainly stood in the mist anyway. How it comes billowing down into that narrow canyon is absolutely wild. The mist is going so high in the air. That's really very cool. Iceland, and this morning I've come to the south of the island to what is widely regarded as one of Iceland's most beautiful waterfalls, and this is called Skógafoss Waterfall. I'm just approaching it now. It's incredibly ferocious. 60 meters high, and there's 2 main areas that you can view it from. So the first is right at the bottom, so I will be stood in the mist of all the water, and then to my right there's quite a steep climb up to the top to view the falls from above. So I'm going to try and do both, but first of all I'm going to head down to the bottom. There's quite a lot of people here actually, unsurprisingly, being as it's one of the most popular tourist spots. much closer than this because you're gonna get soaked, so yeah, even here you're, oh my god, it's absolutely soaking. It's like being in a massive rain shower. That's why everyone stood slightly further back. So I'm making my way up these quite steep steps actually towards the top of the waterfall, because it's always nice to get a different view. As I'm getting a bit higher up, you can still see all of the mist rising as the waterfall's coming down with such power.
Als wenn ich irgendjemandem was beweisen müsste, aber ich meine kaum vor, gar nicht dabei.
So I've reached the top now, and I'd say you actually need some level of fitness to be able to get up those stairs without having a few breaks, especially if lockdown has not been kind. But it's an amazing view from up here. You're pretty much stood in amongst the mist, which is rising up from hitting the floor down there below. There's a lot of birds around here actually. Iceland isn't particularly known for its wildlife, but there are so many nesting just on the hillside on the other side. I still have a mark on my head from the ATV helmet, so please ignore that. But we have just arrived at Sólheimajökull Glacier, and I've definitely pronounced that incorrectly, so you can tell me in the comments how I should be saying it, but that's my attempt. Now this is the 4th largest glacier in Iceland, and the river that it's formed from is actually quite full of sulphur, so this is sometimes nicknamed Stinky River, although today there's no smell at all around here. And unfortunately, because of climate change, it is retreating quite rapidly. Apparently until the 1930s it was actually growing in size, and then now, year upon year, the glacier is getting smaller, like all the glaciers around the world. There's a viewing platform just up that way, but it's quite busy, so I've decided to come down nearer to the water to get a different view of the glacier. And it is actually possible to hike onto it. I've seen a few groups going past with snowshoes and poles. And you can go skidooing on it too, actually. So the final stop today is Seljalandsfoss Waterfall, which is particularly special as this one you can actually go behind. And I imagine I'm going to get very wet. I'm actually quite a distance from it, as you can see at the moment, and there's already a lot of spray, so I definitely think put your valuables in a bag if you're going to do this route. So the only bit where you're actually going to get wet is that initial approach, and now we're behind the waterfall and it's actually very dry here, although very loud. It feels like a hidden cave, except with a lot of other people. So this is the final bit on the other side of the waterfall, equally as wet, but nice to see it from all the different angles. if you get stuck behind some really slow people, you'll get soaked. This trip was very much the tip of the literal iceberg in terms of things to see and do in Iceland. I'd love to go back again soon and explore more of Iceland's beauty. Thank you so much for watching, and make sure to subscribe.